What?
Hey!
Oh, hello!
Here we are.
Hi, and welcome to the Dar and Andy Show.
Welcome to the Dar and Andy Show on this lovely Tuesday.
Another lovely Tuesday evening in paradise.
2nd of December.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, no, first.
Is it first?
First of December. Can you believe it? Just like that, it's December.
That's amazing.
I know. And I don't know one single person that isn't just ready for 2020 to be over.
I know. I think I know that I am. I know that I am.
You're ready for it to be over. Everybody is.
Well, it's just been ridiculous. It's been ridiculous.
It's been a ridiculous year. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's been tragic in a lot of ways, ridiculous in a lot of ways.
Tragic in the worst way. And then ridiculous. So December.
Yes.
We have less than 10% of the year to go.
Yes.
We've made it so far.
Yes.
And we will not reflect on the past.
Too much.
Too much. Maybe in our New Year's.
In the more recent past. And
Yeah.
this episode will reflect in the more recent past.
Very recent.
Yeah. So, for example, like what's going on? I know everybody wants to know what's going on with the Steelers.
You think everybody wants to know that?
It's been a shit show.
Yeah. So we were originally
Unlike our show.
our show is amazing. It's the opposite of a shit show. It's a food show. No, it's so the Steelers were originally going to play on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
We moved our
It was going to be Thanksgiving Day primetime football with our #1 rival in our division.
Yes.
Right?
And
The Shitbirds.
the Shitbirds, and from Baltimore.
Yeah.
And we were going to have our live stream right before that.
Yeah, we were going to do live stream on Thanksgiving Day and then watch the game that night.
Right.
We're going to do the live stream on Thanksgiving Day as a hello and Thanksgiving to all our family that we couldn't be with this Thanksgiving. Because that was a special treat the year before.
Yep.
And, oh my God, it was so sorely missed. And everything like leading up to that Thanksgiving with knowing, that we're not going to see anybody.
Oh,
it sucked.
Yeah.
But, but it's 2020. You want me to say how I spent my Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah. No. I want to cue it up because this one's good.
Oh, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. Okay, so, how do we introduce this properly?
It's like Thanksgiving 2020.
Thanksgiving
What else can go wrong?
Well, okay, so the plan for Thanksgiving 2020 is that you and I would have a quiet Thanksgiving
At home.
Oh. We were going to cook
A traditional dinner.
smallest turkey we could find.
Yes.
And fixins.
With a few fixins.
A few.
Yeah.
No
The
dessert.
most traditional one.
No dessert.
No.
So you went to, so it's a day like normal, except that the dinner was going to be.
Yeah. Well, because, no Thanksgiving in Mexico. So it was normally a swim day for me. So I got up early and I rode my bike over to swim training.
Yeah.
Well, apparently on my ride over to the facility, I got something in my eye and I didn't think too much about it. I didn't, it was kind of bothering me a little bit by the time I got there, but I was thinking about the swim and I was excited about swimming and I put my gear on and I get in the pool. So I'm swimming and my eye starts hurting me. And so I pull up my goggles and I'm like rubbing it a little bit. And then by the time I got out of the water, it was really, really hurting and burning. And I was just rubbing it, trying to get it to stop. Because it's like a relief to have pressure on it, right? And when I got home, I had to walk my bike back home. I couldn't open my eye outside because the light bothered it so bad.
Right.
So I got home and a little while later, I'm kind of freaking out because I'm like, why is my eye hurting so badly?
You tried washing it out. You tried
Multiple
resting,
times.
keeping it closed. Advil.
Everything. So I was like, I gotta go to the eye doctor. So you were kind enough to take excellent care of me. Thank you, by the way. I'm thankful for that Thanksgiving. And you found an eye doctor for me and you took me over there and
They saw you right away.
Yeah.
Ophthalmologist.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
When you called and they said, have her here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We taxied right over and got in. And she looked at my eye and sure enough, I had torn my cornea.
Lacerated your cornea.
Yeah. So I guess there was something in my eye. And then when I started rubbing it, just tore the cornea. And then being in the pool with all those chemicals, it was just on fire by the time I got home.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't know if anybody's ever had a torn cornea, but it is extremely painful. So that was how I started Thanksgiving, which I was just like, well, of course, it's par for the course. It's 2020. Of course, something really terrible, crappy is going to happen.
To your eye, no less, right? Oh my
But
gosh.
it healed in 2 days. I got clear to swim again. So, I mean, it healed really, really fast.
And you saw a really good doctor, and she spoke very good English.
Yeah.
Perfect English.
Yeah.
And precise to the point.
Yeah.
And got the prescriptions filled.
Yeah. So antibiotic drops to ensure that it didn't get infected, and then just some tears to keep it from drying out. But it was 800 pesos. It's like, it was $40
$40.
to see an emergency visit to an optometrist. And then she did a follow-up visit.
Yeah.
Ophthalmologist. And then she did a follow-up visit with me on Saturday morning, 2 days later, and didn't charge for that.
Yeah.
So the whole treatment was like $40, which I was thankful for that too. And I don't know. That was my Thanksgiving. But the meal turned out great. You ended up preparing it all by yourself. So thank you for that.
No worries.
It was an excellent turkey.
Yeah, we made some rolls. Some
Yeah, fresh rolls.
Fresh rolls and
Fresh
turkey.
buttery rolls.
And then we had some dressing.
Dressing.
It was good.
Yeah. Cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce.
That we brought back from.
We smuggled into the
Dallas.
country, yeah. And then we had some green bean casserole. Yeah, so it was good.
Yes, we found the green beans like a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, and
Frozen.
we cleaned them and blanched them and froze them, and then they were ready for the casserole on Thanksgiving Day. But we got ahead of ourselves. What about the Steelers?
Oh, so the Steelers were originally going to play on Thanksgiving primetime. Then, like, a bunch of the Ravens got COVID. So
They got the Rona.
They got the Rona. So it was like a debate. It's like, well, what's going to happen? And they're going to play without him, so on and so forth. They said, well, you know, players are still testing positive for the Ravens. So they said, no, we're going to move the game to Sunday.
Right. And so this is crazy. If they can't play on Thursday, why can they play on Sunday? People
Right.
are still continuing to test
Test positive, yeah.
That means none of the people that just tested positive because they're getting regular testing were going to be cleared by
Right.
Sunday.
Right.
It was only going to mean more people were going to be testing positive.
Yes.
So why move it to Sunday? That didn't make any sense to me.
Well, it didn't make any sense to the NFL either, because then they moved it to Tuesday.
Then they moved it to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, players are still testing positive. And then
They ended up moving it to tomorrow.
they ended up moving it again to Wednesday at 2:45 in the middle of the day.
Yes. So nobody can watch it.
WTF.
Yeah.
So they went from prime time Thanksgiving football
To no time.
to middle of the day on Wednesday football.
Yeah. Like it's like you're watching Facts of Life.
Like a rerun.
Like a
of
rerun of Facts of Life. Yeah.
It is not making any sense. It's just I don't know what the rest of this year is going to look like.
Well, then, because now like 12 of the Ravens have COVID or more. And I think one Steeler or two Steelers, but James Conner is one of them. He's got COVID. But by the time, I think, but he's out for the game. He's not going to be okay. He's not going to be cleared for the game.
Right. No, because he's still going to test positive. So
That's one guy. That's not bad.
no, that's not bad. I can't believe it's just one guy.
I think.
It's pretty amazing. They're
I guess
doing
we'll
an
look it up.
amazing job, and
Well, these
on
guys
and
are.
off the field with those guys.
So what they were proposing for the entire NFL as an extreme measure to make sure that everybody stayed okay, the Steelers, the NFL said, no, you don't have to do that. But the Steelers said, okay, well, we're doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why the Steelers have been able to keep so many players on the field, is because they have the the strictest COVID protocols of the entire NFL.
Right. So yeah, the quarterback coach for the Steelers tested positive.
Right.
And Ben didn't even test positive because they do everything virtual.
Yeah,
like
remotely.
they're not like on the field together and stuff
Right.
like that.
I wonder if I don't think Rudolph or Hodges have tested positive either.
No. And this is what I don't understand. So like the Broncos,
Yeah.
all four of their quarterbacks are out.
Right.
They have no quarterback on their team, and yet they're still playing.
Yeah.
So how does that happen when the Ravens just have a bunch of guys out sick?
Yes.
I mean, if you have like a lot of injured players, you still play your game.
Well, I want to know what's like who else from the Broncos is out? Because if you took out your entire, well, they hang out a lot together. So if one
Those
of them,
quarterbacks.
yeah, so if one of them got it, they probably all got it. But man, it's like bad risk management. But the thing is that the NFL says it's like, well, you can't play if your players are still testing positive. So I guess their players aren't still testing positive, except for the ones that already tested positive and they've been excluded.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I don't think they have a good handle on it.
No.
I mean,
so as of right now, it's been moved again. So this is the third move
right
to Wednesday afternoon. So, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if we'll get to see the Steelers play. But at what point does a team have to either play or forfeit?
Well, I got to work at that time, so I probably won't get to find out.
Well, the game will be on.
I literally have a meeting at that time. So.
The game will be on.
Yeah, I just can't watch it.
Well, we have the Game Pass, so we could technically, when you knock off, we just not pay attention to anything, and then when you knock off work, we can see it.
Maybe I'll take my lunch. Maybe I'll take my lunch then. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. It's a 3-hour game, so it's like.
Yeah, no, we'll just wait until it's over, and then until your work day's over, and then we'll play it on Game Pass like we never saw it. So nobody tell us anything about
Everybody's going to tell us everything.
No, we won't check any social media. No Facebook. We're not going to hear Rudy. We don't want to hear Rudy acting up with his crazy crap.
So you think you're going to be able to shut off social media until
Oh yeah, I can walk away like that. You have no idea.
I have a bunch of people at work who know that I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And they're going to
We'll just do a broadcast message.
Say, I'm not watching the game until after I get off work, so please, radio silence. I think that's a reasonable ask.
Well, and it doesn't matter. Even if you do hear something, what does it matter? We still want to watch the game. We'll just do it when you can knock off.
Well, we're going to kill those guys.
Well, I hope so.
Because they're still showing up.
Still have to play the game.
They're still showing up with like half their starters or something.
That's what you said about the Cowboys, and we did not kill them.
No, we did not.
They almost killed us.
They almost killed us, embarrassingly.
But that's why you have to play the game. That's why it's called the game, because you gotta do it until you can find out who the winner is.
Yeah, so you can find out who the winner is. Otherwise, you don't know.
And if you're the winner, you get a W in the column. It doesn't matter how crappy your win was.
Yeah.
How the struggle bus you rode in to get there. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's still a W.
I rode the short bus. So go Steelers.
I ride the struggle bus.
So go Steelers.
Go Steelers. But I did read today that Dr. Fausti has been saying that he predicts not go Steelers. His estimation is that by June of next year, they'll be able to start packing stadiums again.
Okay, good.
That enough of the vaccinations will have been given out, and people with vaccinations can start going, and that they still are probably going to prohibit people without the vaccination with underlying conditions, to not go. Whatever, but he's predicting June of next year, which would be in time, I think, for the NBA season, right?
NBA wraps up in May. Oh, June. They wrap up in June.
Okay.
Baseball.
So baseball.
For sure.
Maybe baseball will be making a comeback. That's where people could go. People have been pent up for a long time. And I don't know. We watched the news in the States of what's going on with COVID, and we were laughing earlier about the idea of the restaurants that had to start outdoor seating.
Well, yeah, in the middle of winter, right?
Well, no, they've been doing this for a few months now, the outdoor seating, because I think New York was the first one that banned indoor dining, but restaurants could serve outdoors. Okay. So they started putting all these little tables outside on the sidewalk and stuff so they could serve guests outside. Yeah. And then winter started coming, so they started building little tents around.
Building a restaurant around their outdoor seating. Yeah, that's I think defeating the purpose.
That's funny, right? You'd think those little those plastic tents and stuff would be breeding grounds for that virus, but I don't know. It's got a little protected insulation in there from the cold.
I just don't know enough. I think it's this obviously to prevent the spread of droplets, but you still have like the waiter going from spot to spot. Yeah.
Well, that's what they're doing right now.
You know, I was thinking about it, and it's like, you know, I always thought it would have been fun to go into medicine, but it would suck to go into epidemiology. That's like sounds like a tedious, thankless job. And hats off to all the physicians who chose that as their profession. It's like, man, that's
Thankless work.
thankless work. You know, thankless work. You spend a lot of time going to gnarly places and trying to
Figure out.
what's going on with
Yeah.
the livestock in Zaire.
Did you watch that movie with me about I think it was an Ebola outbreak that happened like back in the 60s, and then
Oh, no.
it was fiction. It was a fictional movie, but there was an outbreak in some village back in the 60s, and they went and they just bombed the whole village because that's how they handled the outbreak.
That was the threat that was hanging out in the back of Outbreak. Remember, because they were going to do it again.
Oh, yeah. That
Justin
was the
Hoffman.
movie.
Yeah,
that was the movie.
yeah.
And it opened with the bombing of this village that had Ebola.
Yeah.
And they were going to do it again.
They're going to do it again.
And then the doctors were like, we have to go save these people.
Yeah.
And they ended up saving
Save
them.
people.
But the military was just like, bomb them.
Yeah.
But I mean, these doctors put themselves in super bad situations. It's very scary stuff.
Ebola's no bullshit.
No bullshit. And now we know, right?
Yeah. You know, but the thing about Ebola is that you catch it and you catch it at noon, you're sick by midnight, you know? It's not like this shit where you catch it,
carry it around
for 2 weeks, and then you like go back and you're asymptomatic the whole time, but you infected everybody. Everybody at the whatever, you know, that you work at. Starbucks.
Well, they said 3 million Americans traveled over Thanksgiving, so that
Really?
we'll see some fallout from that.
I think people don't have an appreciation of how many 3 million is.
Yeah. Well, what is that? 1% of the U.S. population, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, close to it.
Yeah, but you figure those 3 million people, how many people did they come in contact with?
We figure if 1% of them were infected with the virus, and 30,000. Wait, 1% of them. That means that 10,000 infected people traveled. Just if 1% of them were infected. So.
Well, we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're watching the news here. Things are pretty status quo. We're maintaining our
Mellow.
yellow.
Hospitals are doing good.
Yes.
None of the services are getting overwhelmed. Lots of. Well, I mean, and we, unfortunately, because of your eye, got to go to a clinic. There's basically nobody there.
No, and they got us in 30 minutes, and
Their emergency department was completely clear.
both days.
Both days. We haven't heard of any
Local people.
Yeah, local people, emergency services being overwhelmed. Lots of people that I know in the United States have it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
each of our uncles had it.
each of our uncles had it.
We're both like in their 80s.
Yeah.
And they recovered.
They
from
recovered.
It,
They
thank
felt
goodness.
they were sick.
They were very sick.
Yeah. And then people that I talked to, well, you know, people in my company, obviously, who've had it, but then former colleagues of mine who are suffering from it, and whatever.
Well, tomorrow I was planning to go to the lab and get my lab work done for my, checkup. And we said we were going to get the antibody test. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, because we think we had it. At least I think I had it.
Well, they're already saying now that it's been in North America since early December.
No, they found antibodies of COVID in donated blood going back to September of last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
yeah.
here for a lot longer because you got really sick in December.
Yeah.
And you got pneumonia.
And I had a fever.
Yeah, and we got really concerned about that, but you took antibiotics and it cleared up, and I mean, you recovered.
Yeah.
But then when COVID came out, you were like, I bet I had it back in December.
Because I got
And they
thrashed.
were like, no, it didn't come until, late in whatever it was, February or whatever they were saying to start with. And then you were like, no, I bet that's what that was in December. So we're going to find out, we're going to go get the antibody tests and find out if we've had it and if we have the antibodies, because if we do, that means we've had it. Chances are very, very low that we would get reinfected.
Yeah.
And we won't pass it on to other people. So,
well, it's, you know, very good reason for me to think it's like, I mean, we've been very close to people who ended up getting it, you know, like,
well, like our friends we saw at the resort, they had it back in the day. Yeah, we've known lots of people that had it, but
I don't know. That's weird. COVID.
The Rona.
I don't know.
Well, I just want the vaccine to start rolling out. I think I'll feel a lot better when the vaccine starts rolling out and people I know start getting it. And I hope everybody decides to get it. It's like, that's just part of being in society and
responsible citizen.
Yeah, being a responsible citizen. It's like ensuring that kids have their vaccines before they go to school. It's like your kid can't go to school and, be subject to a lot of illnesses that they don't need to be.
Or get other kids sick.
Or get other kids sick. But the kids that get vaccinated aren't going to get sick. It's the kid that didn't get vaccinated.
Right.
That's going to get sick.
It's the what?
The kid that didn't get vaccinated.
Or there's kids who legitimately can't get vaccinated. Because they have allergies to the components that come into the vaccine, or they have compromised immune systems, or that's pretty much the two things. And you're like, then those kids can't get vaccinated. So you don't want your kid to like, you say, well, they should take all those kids out of school. It's like, yeah, well, why don't just everybody get vaccinated? Just it's a less shitty thing to do.
Well, they're already saying that you're going to have a vaccination to fly certain airlines. They're already
saying that.
They're already rolling out these guidelines that will be happening when the vaccine is available, and they're already talking about hotels, restaurants, bars, all cinemas, all these places that are considering if they're going to require that vaccination. So I don't know.
We have to carry our V card.
Vaccination card. I hope it's a chip. I
want to get chipped.
I just want a chip.
I want to get
put
chipped.
my chip in.
I'm gonna fucking lose that card. you know what a V card is, right?
No.
When you're a virgin, it's like, hey, have you given up your V card yet?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I guess
people are idiots.
Guy speak.
People are idiots. I thought that was a girl thing.
No.
Anyway, so I want to get chipped. I want to get chipped.
That's what I want. I want a chip.
Because I have a shot record that's as long as my arm, and I want all those things to get on there.
I bet you do. You still have all of that printed out somewhere? You have like your.
I have my shot record is nicely saved up in what's my parents' thing, but I scanned it. I think I scanned it.
Yeah.
Because anyway.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody gets vaccinated when that comes available, and we get back to being a healthy population, and
back to being a normally unhealthy population.
Unhealthy for normal reasons, like too much junk food,
too much sugar,
too much Coca-Cola.
Yeah, as I pour myself another glass of wine. L'chaim.
Too much Well, you've recently had a health checkup.
Yes.
And you were giving a super clean bill of health.
I was.
So there.
Is there any doubt in anybody's mind that I am the healthiest man alive, other than Donald Trump?
Okay, you're going left on me again.
I don't know. I just thought that was so hilarious that, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it.
I mean, you really need to let some of this go, Andy. It's not healthy for you.
It's not.
I come in, and he's got the TV on, and it's just YouTube squawkers,
dude yelling
just going on and on about all the injustices over the last 4 years, and like all the things that are going to happen about it.
I want reparations.
I'm just like, oh my God, we got to move on.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, that's why I was like, we need some 2021 goals. Yay! What's going on in 2021?
Well, did you put that on the list? Because you didn't give me enough time to prepare.
No, I didn't. And we talked about this last time. It's not on the list. When it's on the list, you'll know.
Okay.
So anyway, what I did want you to talk a little bit about and so we have it on the record, is a traditional Mexican Christmas.
Las fiestas navideñas en México. Les presento. So I was asked to provide. I was interviewed actually. Interviewed. I make it sound like it's this big deal. At work, we have a newsletter.
For your newsletter.
And they wanted to know about traditions, Christmas traditions in Mexico because I grew up in Mexico.
Yes.
I live in Mexico.
And this is our first Caribbean Christmas.
That's a different
Yes.
topic.
Yes. I'm sorry. Please go on.
No, that's okay. So, Dar thought it would be interesting for me to go through the not typical, but traditional, Christmas traditions
Yeah.
in Mexico.
Kind of the season, the Christmas season, because it does last several weeks here.
It does. It starts traditionally in terms of okay, so everybody knows that in the Christmas season, things get a little lax. Not lax.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Are you talking about
work.
processes like government,
government, business.
and
There's things,
lots of people taking the last vacations of the year.
things slow down, right? Things slow down, and it's kind of harder to get things scheduled. So
Things aren't clipping along like they are, say,
Right. Middle of the year.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's a different story. So in Mexico they have an idiom, is that the word I'm looking for? Mm-hmm. Called the Guadalupe Reyes Marathon, La Maratón Guadalupe Reyes. Mm-hmm. And what that refers to is a marathon. It's not really a run marathon, but it's this it's
a marathon of days.
Right. That go from December 12th, which is the feast day of the Virgin of Guadalupe, which is the interpretation of Mary in Mexico, and is the patron saint of not only Mexico but Latin America, Guadalupe. And what the December 12th commemorates is the day that Mary appeared to a peasant out on the Sierra de Guadalupe, I think, or is it Tepeyac?
At the Basilica.
Where the Basilica is now.
See.
Not the bottom part, but the one up top.
Right. And we walked up there.
Yes.
So my very first Christmas in Mexico City, when we moved there, we did do that march, and we went to the Basilica, and then we went up to the top. Walked up to the top to the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you saw these massive poinsettia trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I realized, wow, I've never seen a poinsettia that wasn't just a plant, a small plant. This was these were huge trees,
yeah, it's a
just
beautiful
line
day.
the walkway. Line the walkway, and it's a beautiful spot. But that's the spot where she appeared to a peasant.
Yes, and that's the
Mary,
her feast. Her feast day is considered the starting day of the Mexican Christmas season. It's preceded by, she has a novena before that, which is kind of 9 days of sacrifice that precede her feast day, which is when people will traditionally go to the basilica, with their petitions, before the Virgin, and some people will make the last
asking things.
Yeah.
And do you remember all of the people out at the basilica creating wreaths and flower arrangements and the flowers? There were just millions of fresh flowers, and people there just creating all of
these beautiful arrangements. And then remember when we went to that the museum that had all the offerings, it was all the offerings that they made to Mary, to
coins and crosses
and and then crutches and glass eyes and all these things that were, there was the petitions to Mary to heal them, heal these people, But then the feast day, massive day in Mexico, and that is the kickoff to the the Guadalupe Reyes Marathon.
And that's on the 12th.
Right, that's on the 12th. And then there's the.
Are there special foods associated with the feast?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
It's just a family event and
Right.
family and friends.
It's the feast day is when you would have a large family and friends gathering. Typically you would eat, so you would call it a feast. And commemorating a saint is why it's called a feast day. And then the 12th, and then I think by the 12th night, right? So then after that no. After that, it's like you get like the last, I think 12 days before Christmas, which is immediately after
The feast.
the feast. You would start the posadas, and the posadas start then, and those are. So a posada is a tradition in Mexico. They're parties essentially that are supposed to recreate the Joseph and Mary going from inn to inn, their journey, looking for a place to stay because she's pregnant, get birth, so on and so forth. And so they go from inn to inn and they get refused, or eventually they get to one inn that allows them, that admits them into the inn, and that's what that is commemorating.
Is their journey.
There is a back and forth singing thing that goes on, where they're refused from inn to inn, and then eventually they get to the inn that allows them in, and it's back and forth singing, and so on and so forth. And there's a big party.
So I remember my very first posada was, I think you and I were still dating. You took me to the posada that your mom and dad had at their house, and they did the party around the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah. And that
with
was
the singing and everything.
And the candles and and that was my very first
It's a
posada.
lovely tradition.
It is nice.
And there's piñata, typically, and then lots of food and lots of booze.
Yes.
And posadas can be very humble, sometimes very, not sacred, what's the word I'm looking for? Like religiously oriented things, but some of them are just like,
Just a reason to have a party.
raves.
Yeah.
Literally, like you have like raves
just go all night.
that they call posadas. I was like, but whatever, because everybody has like red and green glow sticks. So anyway, so that's the posadas, and noche buena, right? So noche buena is Christmas Eve, good night. Noche buena, good night.
It's also a beer.
It's also a beer, and it's also the name, what they call poinsettias here.
Oh, that's right.
They call them Noche Buenas.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. So that day we went to the basilica and went up to the chapel. And remember we were coming out and there was this group of young girls.
Yes.
And they stopped you and they wanted to interview you.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
What were they interviewing you about?
They wanted to practice their English.
They wanted to practice their English. That's
Yes.
right. And they wanted to talk to you about your experience at the chapel.
Yeah, they should have been talking to you. I mean,
No, that was great because you also speak Spanish. So
yeah, but I didn't want to intervene or whatever.
Yeah. No, it was good. I thought it was, it was just really cool.
It was charming.
And it's like a nice memory.
Yeah.
He wanted to ask you about your experience. There was just this gaggle of little schoolgirls in uniform.
Yeah, they're very giggly.
I didn't remember like if they worked for like a school newspaper or like it seemed like there was something. They just wanted to practice.
They were
their
English students. Yeah, they were English students.
Nice.
Looking for people who spoke English so
Yeah.
they can practice.
That's a nice memory from that trip that day. But okay, so then after the season of the posadas, which runs for 12 days, then Christmas
12
Eve.
days. Yeah, then Christmas Eve, which is the big day here in Mexico for Christmas. So like Christmas Day is less important.
Right.
Christmas Eve is the business. So Christmas Eve starts with you gather at a relative's house early in the evening, like whenever. I mean,
What's early in the evening Mexico time?
like 5.
Okay.
Like 5.
That's about what time we used to go to your mom's house.
Right. Yeah. You show up. You show up like at 5, and then those who are Catholics would typically go to mass, like it. I think the mass. I don't know.
Yeah, there's usually like a 6 or 7 o'clock mass,
Yeah,
and then like a midnight mass.
It was later, and I think there may have been a midnight. I don't know. I'm not a Catholic.
Yeah. Well,
so.
all the churches are different. They set their own
Yes.
pastimes.
The idea is that the observant ones, as a family, everybody goes to mass. If you live in a town that is small enough, or you'd walk
Yeah.
to mass as a group,
Right.
and go to mass, and then you come back,
Yeah.
right?
I love my Catholic friends.
And then you'll have your Christmas Eve meal, which is super late, usually ends at midnight or whatever.
So you go to mass and then you come back, is the food usually like pre-prepared so that when you come back everything just gets ready to serve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Through one way or another,
Right.
it'll be food it's like, there's traditional food, like there are, baccala, right? Which is like salt cod that are prepared with tomato and olives, right? And that
I
can
remember
sit.
one of our Christmas parties that we had for like coworkers and vendors and friends and family, and like everybody came.
Yes.
And you served bacalao.
Yeah.
And nobody there had
ever had
heard of
it. Yeah.
But they ate it up.
All of it, yeah.
Loved the bacalao.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good bacalao.
It's really a good dish.
Yeah. I have to make some.
And the first time, we should make some this year for sure.
It's just for me though.
Well,
You have a little bit. You have a little bit.
Who? Well, I don't know. Maybe we have some local friends that have some bacalao. I like it on crackers.
Yeah.
I like it on crackers, but a lot of times we're doing low carb,
Low
and so I
carb,
can't have crackers, and so I just can't eat just the bacalao.
Bacalao. Yeah.
But I do like it on crackers.
Yeah. It's good on crackers.
Yes, exactly. Lots of things are good on crackers.
Most things.
If I could just have a cracker with it. But we're not doing low carb right now, so I can have that.
You can have that, yeah. Okay. I was checking that out. Making
It's a
sure.
nice, is it a nice, would it be a nice thing to gift to some like local friends? No, they don't like that. It doesn't keep. You got to refrigerate it.
I'm probably going to give you the gift of fish.
I guess that doesn't. But we live on the beach. The gift of fish sounds so natural.
Yeah, it does. These are fish that are caught in Nova Scotia. So,
Okay, so Christmas Eve, and then you have your big dinner after Mass.
yes, with bacalao, and you'll have ponche, which is a Mexican punch, which is whatever, fruits and dried sugar, citrus fruits, dried fruits, sugar, spices, and
Everything nicest.
then, and then for the adults you'll put a shot of rum in it,
There you go.
and the shot of rum will get bigger and bigger as you go along, and then if you're
Then you just free pour in.
it's pre-pouring, and then if you're hanging out with my buddy Marcel, then you just like switch to tequila. Yeah, and that's it. Then you get into
That sounds great.
introduce discussions with people's stepdads, and it's good times. So so that's Christmas Eve, and then later on in Christmas Eve, like at midnight, the kids will. Well, typically kids don't open gifts on Christmas in Mexico. Well, not typically. Traditionally, they don't open them until the Epiphany, which is when the three wise men visited the baby Jesus. The Wisemans.
Welcome, Wiseman.
The Wisemans are coming.
The Wisemans came over.
So, anyway, but United States and Mexico become
So
a
when's
lot
the
more.
January Sorry.
January 6th.
Okay, so presents don't get open till January 6th?
They don't even get delivered until January 6th.
Okay, so no presents Christmas Eve.
Traditionally,
And then Christmas, so you just have the big meal / party,
everybody fucks off to bed.
and then everybody just
No
sleeps.
gifts.
No gifts.
But that's
You're
not.
like, no gifts.
but that's changed now,
Yeah.
right? So now,
Now more U.S. customs are kind of
yeah, I mean, it's like,
creeping in.
and so kids will either open all their presents or one present on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And then, Christmas morning, they'll kind of do a Christmas morning like the United States,
Yeah.
even though that's traditionally not the way it was.
Yeah. Well, I seem to remember that at home we opened one small gift, like our parents picked a gift for us to open Christmas Eve.
Right.
And then everything else was open Christmas Day, particularly whatever Santa brought.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 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 Right.
So,
Right. 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 Right
So Christmas Day here is not a
big
festive
deal.
day.
Not a big deal. You go play with your toys.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, I don't know what parents do on Christmas Day. Just hang out, you know, people eat leftovers or whatever from, because the meal before was huge and everybody's taking food home. And
So what happens between Christmas Day and then the Epiphany on this January 6th?
nothing.
Nothing happens, but
Nothing.
people are generally still not working.
No.
I remember that because I had an attorney trying to help me with my residency here.
Yeah.
And it was just like nothing was happening.
They're not doing anything now.
Nothing is happening. Yeah, nothing happens pretty much the whole month of December.
Yeah, December's
and then
wash.
the first couple weeks of January.
Yeah.
And then the cogs start turning
Yeah.
again about mid-January,
Yes.
right?
About mid-January.
About mid-January. So there's like a whole 4 to 6 weeks where it's just like
Nothing.
nothing's going on in Mexico.
Right.
There's no traffic. There's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I think there's like some minor saints feasts between the two. So you'll have like these random days where it's just all you hear is like firecrackers going off.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember that.
but it gets really quiet.
And firecrackers will go off like all day.
Yeah, all day.
Like it's not like a nighttime
Well,
thing.
for the Guadalupe feast, they'll start midnight of the day before the feast. They just start boom, boom.
Yeah,
And
they're
you're
big and boomy.
yeah,
They're
in
not
Mexico
like,
City they are
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
They're definitely boomy.
Um,
I miss Christmas there because this is our first, like I said, our first Christmas in the Caribbean.
it's a
And of course,
Caribbean
it's
Christmas.
like, you know, people put up Christmas trees, but it just feels so awkward. It's so like out of place. It's
Christmas in the tropics.
yeah, I mean, it's like there's palm trees out there, and then like a frosty Christmas
Frosty
tree
Christmas
in the
ornament.
lobby.
Yeah, well.
It's like I don't know, but we do need to decorate for Christmas. I just don't know how we're gonna make that work. Maybe get some lighted palm trees, or
I don't know.
I don't know. We got time to think about it.
Yeah, it's already December, and we don't have to decorate. I'd like to decorate, but
Yeah.
I'm not, aching to decorate.
You're not married to the idea.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But so anyway, so Christmas Day comes and goes. We can talk about New Year's another time.
Yeah. Christmas
Even-
Day comes and goes. The Epiphany, nothing happens until the Epiphany, on the 6th.
Yeah, and then I think traditionally they were supposed to give the gifts again midnight from the 5th to the 6th. You give the gifts. But I think mostly now the kids wake up on the 6th, or those who still believe in Okay, so the Epiphany is the day that the three wise men arrive at the manger, right? And that's when you place the little figurines of the three wise men at the manger.
Oh, they're not even there.
They're not even there until
The
then.
nativity set is a huge deal here.
Yes, well, it is in the States too. A lot of people.
but more so here.
But the United States, they'll put the wise men in right away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole set goes
The whole
up.
set goes in.
Okay, so
yeah.
the wise men don't show up until the Epiphany.
The Epiphany.
on the 6th.
Then you put them in.
Okay.
Is this like in the nativity in the United States? You don't-
Surprise!
Yeah, it's like you don't put the baby Jesus into the crib, into the manger until Christmas Day.
Who says that? Nobody says that. Everybody I've ever known that had a nativity set,
In
the
Mexico.
whole set goes out.
No, in Mexico you don't
Oh,
put
I didn't
the
know
baby
that.
does
You
not arrive
build
until the
it.
25th. Yeah,
You build the set as the timing happens.
I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know when you put the sheep. I want to know when the sheep arrives.
The sheep are going to be late because they're always late arrivers.
Yes.
They don't go in until 2 days before
It's like
Christmas.
So
You were just bahaing earlier when you were singing that song,
yeah, the Riding
the
Hood
Little
song.
Red Riding Hood song.
Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a lot of celebrating for a lot of weeks, and then
So that's another party day.
yeah, the 6th.
The 6th, Epiphany.
Yeah.
So that is like if you have an office, you may skip having a posada, but you will have a Reyes Magos, a Reyes something. And what you do at a minimum, even if you're just a shitty boss, is that you'll send one of your compinches out to go buy a king cake. Rosca de Reyes, as it's called here. And it's also a tradition in Louisiana,
Yes.
a king cake. And
It's called king cake, yeah.
yeah, it's a big donut-shaped, flat donut-shaped cake. Here it's more like a bread. It's like a sweet bread.
It's more like a bread. You're
It's like
right.
a bread. Yeah. It's a leavened, sweetened. It's like a challah, right? More sugar, and then and it's decorated with these colored stripes.
Well, red and green colored stripes usually, I think, right?
Yeah, here it's yellow and a bunch of other colors.
Okay.
Yeah. No, over in New Orleans,
I don't remember.
It's like Mardi Gras colors. It's like green and purple.
Okay.
Here it's like all kinds of colors, and
I think just the last one I bought was green and red.
oh, was it okay?
Yeah.
And then the cake, and you'll buy one for everybody in the staff, and you'll take a break.
Everybody gets a slice.
Everybody gets a slice.
And in there is going to be a little plastic baby Jesus.
Depending on the size of the cake, there may be more.
Oh, there could be more?
Yes, because you can have a staff of 400 people.
And you can't have just one
You can't have one person
getting the baby
Baby
Jesus.
Jesus. They'll have, in that case, they'll have 24 of them.
Because the baby Jesus represents, if you get the baby Jesus in your slice,
Yes.
represents what?
Then you are required to throw a party on Candlemas.
Okay.
El Día de la Candelaria. Candlemas, right? Candlemas. And that is 40 days after? Yes, it's 40 days after the 25th.
Well, did Pato throw his party because he got the baby Jesus in
Right.
the last cake I bought last year?
I don't know.
I don't remember if he did. He probably did.
Probably did.
We probably went. I just didn't realize it was connected.
Probably went.
I just didn't realize it was connected though to that to the baby Jesus cake.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. The Candlemas.
Candlemas. And actually, you're not supposed to. You don't have to throw the party, but you have to bring the tamales,
Okay.
which is the main food during
Right.
Candlemas. And they eat a lot of damn tamales.
Dude, I love tamales.
Me too. And you have to bring the tamales. So if you're if it's a 500-person party, you want to split that up among a bunch of people. But the boss is supposed to throw the Epiphany party.
The Epiphany on the 6th.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we still have to get our king cake.
Well, later, right? Because we don't eat it until later.
Yeah. But I'm sure they have the pastelerias around here. I'm sure
You already have them.
They already have
Oh,
them.
they already have them.
But if you're not going to serve it till the 6th, why do they have it 6 weeks
Because
early?
people love king cake.
So they're just going to keep eating.
Hell yeah, just eat it. Yeah, that's it. Like, hey,
Just throw that baby Jesus away.
I'm seasonal. I'm being seasonal.
You just get your new cake on the 6th, you flip it upside down, you stuff all
Yep.
those baby Jesus.
That's all it is. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like I want cake. Damn you.
We were talking about the pastelerias earlier because nobody bakes at home. We were talking about how you can't get pie crust.
Yeah,
and
pie
certain
crust,
things
yeah.
here because people really
Mexicans
just
don't
eat.
bake.
Yeah, they don't bake.
They don't
But
bake.
because there's a bakery. There's a bakery on every freaking corner, and you just go and buy, and it's it's so inexpensive.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that in the United States are considered. So Mexico never really had a frontier culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
Well,
wasn't.
they did, but it was hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Well,
probably.
we didn't have that. They always sent the priests first.
Okay, yeah.
So the priests-
They didn't send the cowboys.
They didn't see the cowboys. There were already people there. They sent the priests, and the priests went there to evangelize all the people out there, and they brought all their crap.
Yeah.
They brought manuals and everything on how to set up a mission.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only until the mission was there that you had people who arrived and built the society around. Mission went first.
Okay.
So with the mission, a mission has slaughterhouse, a bakery,
Everything to support
clothworks,
the people at the mission.
a farm.
Yeah.
Those all arrive with the mission. Then the first.
So the church does a lot of things right.
Well, I mean, it was very successful. Because there's missions all the way up the coast of California, and all the way down to Tierra del Fuego, and
Well, what about the San Antonio mission?
Yes.
They're a World Heritage Site now.
they are. so that was different. The way that Spaniards, I guess, the Spanish treated the frontier was by sending missionaries first, or by sending priests first, with an army, of course. I mean, and that arrived first, and they did, boom, this is here, and okay, now civilians can arrive. But it was always like this, the sword and the cross thing that marched.
They had soldiers.
They had soldiers.
Yeah,
they had
that's why
soldiers.
they needed all of the support processes,
Services,
food,
yeah.
and yes, everything.
So it's kind of a different way of like
Populating.
not only that, but it's a different way of imagining or your
Expansion.
but it's a different conception of what you have about what your national identity is.
Well, I mean, are you saying that Mexicans have a different perception of what their national identity is? Okay.
Than American people in the United States do, right? Because we weren't, they didn't. You don't have this explorer, conqueror of the land,
Well, didn't they do that a lot in the States as far as sending missionaries to the American Indians that they went and took down?
The Catholics did? Or like,
they were probably Catholics.
So the Northern European people who lived in the 13 colonies and then grew into the United States, right? They didn't send missionary groups out to anything. It was not the way it was done,
But as the
evangelization was not. It was not.
But as Americans spread across North America,
Yes.
didn't they do some of that?
Eventually, yeah. Like the church, the church people would follow long behind people who were expanding to look for fur or mining.
It's the Spanish that came to Mexico, and so that was the Spanish way of doing conquering.
Yes. Well, there was a very close tie between the church and the state. The United States didn't have that.
Not
in the same way.
Well, not the United States, because it wasn't the United States.
Right.
It was just some colonies, but it was mostly England sending those colonists over.
Right, but as civilians.
Right.
As civilians, right? And
they weren't on a mission.
They weren't on a mission.
Well, there weren't that many people here.
There weren't that many people. And the Pilgrims didn't come over here on a mission. The Pilgrims came over here to establish a society that they could do their own thing. They had no intention of expanding beyond the towns that they established that were hugging the coast. That's all they wanted. They wanted to live by their own devices, right? It was the people who came here with commercial interests that expanded into the West. Whereas the commercial interests and the military interests and the religious interests with the Spanish were all tied together. It was all the same thing.
Yeah.
It was all the same thing. Why am I telling this story?
I don't know, but either way, the indigenous people were conquered.
Oh yeah, in both cases. Yeah.
In both cases.
Yeah. In both cases. However, what we don't have is it's from baking. Why Mexicans don't bake?
Yes.
They don't bake. Mexican households, they prepare some foods, right? But a lot of staples are prepared in a centralized.
They're manufactured.
They're manufactured
in their own way.
Yeah,
not by a lot of machinery. A lot of times by hand, but they're still manufactured in large quantities, and they're cheap to buy.
They're cheap to buy. But baking is certainly something you would get from a bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Nothing.
I think we're doing great.
Okay.
All right. So that's Christmas in Mexico.
You always think we're doing great.
You think we went off on a tangent?
No. I like the tangent. I mean, it's good info.
Yeah.
We do need to kind of wrap it up. We're on a.
We have like a bunch
my Apple Watch is telling me I'm supposed to stand.
Oh, go ahead. So, do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to? Because these.
Well, we have a couple of more. I guess we can make these brief topics. Things we wanted to bring up that we've kind of talked about over the last week or so.
Yes.
And one thing that we wanted to bring to people's attention that I am finding endlessly fascinating, was I just read about an all-you-can-stay package, vacation package. They're calling it an all-you-can-stay. It's not an all-inclusive. It's all-you-can-stay. It's $2,500 a month. It's in the Maldives. Is it Maldives or Maldives? Maldives.
I thought this was everywhere. The Maldives thing is $30,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
There's
There's
$30,000 a year. What's the $2,500?
That is like it's like a permanent Airbnb.
Yes. So the Maldives, $30,000 a year, and
All
you can
inclusive.
stay. That one is all inclusive, and you can stay as much as you want.
You can
pay
just
your
go
30 grand, and then you can
move
just
in.
go. And in fact,
person.
the more you stay, the more times you stay or the longer you stay, the more benefits you get out of the deal.
Benefits?
So benefits. But it is all inclusive.
Per person.
And I was just like, what?
Or is it two people? I think you said it was two people.
I think it was double occupancy.
Yeah.
It was 1 to 2 person occupancy.
Okay.
But if you Google all you can stay
Maldives.
Maldives, it's going to come up. And I was like, wow, we could go stay. And it is a very exclusive resort. It's on the water. It's beautiful. I was just like, oh my God, I could see myself spending a year there.
Right.
And for $30,000, it's like less than we're spending on our Airbnb rent.
A lot less.
And,
Of course, it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
but it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean, so there's that.
Well, but you get all your food, which is like your biggest concern when living out in the middle of nowhere, is that you're gonna have to pay like all kinds of money.
You
for
don't
it.
have to pay for groceries.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know about if they would be able to source our wine, enough wine for us, but
They'd better.
but anyway, it's like just the idea that something like this is coming online makes me very excited.
Yes.
Because if this one goes off and it's successful, which I think it will be,
Mexico is coming
I
next.
think that there's going to be more of these opportunities coming online, especially with people, all these people that own these Airbnb properties, and they have just sat dark
Yeah.
for months at
Months,
a
yeah.
time. And the travel ban's not going to be lifted anytime soon. But anyway, I just want people to be aware that there is such thing as all you can stay vacation.
We're waiting for one near the central time zone, and we're just gonna go and do that.
I think so.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's great.
I think we got a really good spot here.
We got a great spot here, and we're going to be here till next September. So we're here I keep saying another year, but now that's not even a year. Now it's going on 10 months now.
9 months. Yeah.
10 months, 10 months. So I don't know, all you can stay, but we could at a vacation resort. What?
With a
For
scuba diving.
30,000?
Great
So,
scuba diving.
We're looking for more of that. If you run across any staycation ideas, if you read about anything, let us know. We're down. We're down to clown.
Different expression. Okay, so that's that. And what else we're gonna talk about?
Just we were talking earlier this week about dual citizenship and how happy we are that you pursued yours. And even though
yeah.
it was a pain and it cost us a little money, you're so happy that you got it.
I'm so glad I got it.
So glad you got it. And it was because your mother was born in Mexico that you were entitled to the Mexican citizenship.
And and she was very excited for me to gain my Mexican citizenship, and I'm so glad I went through the process.
Yeah.
And man,
It was a lot of work.
I mean, yeah. At times I thought it was going to be, at times I thought it was like, well, this is just like, okay, we're just doing this because of the challenge now.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a,
There-
like a bureaucratic ninja challenge something. It's like, oh, you think we could, no, we're going to keep coming at you.
Well, I remember there was a couple times you were like, I don't even want to do this anymore. It's not worth it. It's too difficult. We're just getting the door slammed in our face every time.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, we're just going to keep going.
We're going to keep on plowing
I
ahead.
likened it to financial aid in college. When I
Right.
was in college, it was like you had to jump through 32,000 hoops to
Right.
get a $300 grant.
Pell Grant, yeah.
And it was like, but I needed that $300
Yeah.
for my books. And so it was like, okay, just tell me the next thing I got to do, and just tell me the next thing, and then the next thing. And then it's like, by the time you jump through the last hoop, you get your $300.
Yeah, it was like thousands of dollars and months and so much hassle.
It was
And
like 2 years. It
2
wasn't
years.
months, it was like 2 years.
Yeah, it was 2 years. And you had to drive up to Austin twice and God knows what else.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I'll just run it up there and get the stamp.
Yeah, hiring translators and lawyers, and both my parents had to get involved in umpteen visits to the
Eventually,
counselor.
we did have to get your parents involved, and they had to go down to the consulate.
Yeah.
You had to fly back from Mexico 2 times, and it was just an ordeal. But you got it, and now you have it, and you'll have it forever. And it's just like, I'm so glad that you did get it. And we were talking about that, and we had friends that were asking us, like, "Hey, our parents were born in Mexico.
Yes.
Can we get the citizenship?" The answer is
yes.
yes.
Do
You
it.
can.
You never want to be without options. That's dumb.
Yeah.
You don't want to be without options because that's dumb. Because you
So-
never know.
If you have an opportunity to have dual citizenship in whatever countries,
Yeah.
I would say please go through the process to get it, because if you take your time and hire a good attorney. I mean, we paid probably $5,000 in attorneys. Would you say $5,000?
Yeah, maybe.
But yours was a very difficult
Very,
process
very
because
difficult.
The whole Thailand thing.
Well, yeah, and then there was complications with my mom's records and all this other stuff. But yeah.
But a lot more people's paperwork might be more straightforward.
Certainly everybody that we've spoken to, nobody had like a case like mine.
Yeah.
They've all been like, oh yeah, well I was born in the United States and my mom was born in Mexico.
But
and that's a slam dunk.
we know a lot of we have a lot of friends in San Antonio that are Mexican descent, probably a lot of times first generation Mexicans. And it's like, you are entitled to that Mexican citizenship.
Go get it,
So
yeah.
we know a good attorney there. So if you need any referrals for an immigration attorney, we can help you with that. But whatever country that you're entitled to your dual citizenship, we have friends, your high school friend, Lawrence,
Yeah.
his wife was from Honduras, and they went and got all 3 of their kids citizenship. Is that right?
Well, her
No,
dad.
German.
Because her dad is German.
That's right. Her
So-
dad was German.
So she got a German citizen,
She went
and then
Honduras.
all her kids have German citizenship. Well, the EU. I don't know. I think it's the Schengen thing. I don't know. No, I think they're all German citizens.
They're all German citizens. She ran the gamut to get them all that. But what a great gift to give to your kids. And now they subsequently went and got U.S. citizenship.
Yes.
So now her kids have Mexican citizenship, U.S. citizenship, and German or EU
Yeah.
citizenship.
And Honduran, I guess.
In Honduran, I don't know if they pursued that, if they got that, but I know they pursued the German one.
Yeah. And man, it's like,
what a great gift.
and if the thing is that if you have any kind of claim toward European citizenship, British citizenship, or your kids can go to school in Europe free, virtually free.
If they're citizens.
Yeah, to university virtually free. I mean, you have to go find if you're from,
You basically have to don't mind doing paperwork.
you have to don't mind doing
Or
paperwork.
paying an attorney, one or the other.
Cost of college $400,000.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like you should consider all your options.
Consider the options
Mm-hmm.
and
Like, well, not only that, but like if you're, well, yeah. So here in Mexico is more complicated, but if you're able to get Mexican citizenship, you can go to the most prestigious, if you qualify, Mexican university for like maybe $10,000 a year, maybe, which is ITAM, which is in Mexico City. You have to speak perfect Spanish. You have to qualify to get in. I get it. Very hard to get into, and it's very, very
well, most people
competitive.
aren't going to speak perfect Spanish.
Perfect Spanish.
So that's kind of a disqualifier.
I get it, but
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ability to live and work in Mexico doubles every opportunity that you would ever
Right.
have in the United States, because it's a whole other country.
It's a whole other country. It's a lot of it. And it's going to explode after this COVID shit's done.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Because people are going like, I need to get out of this damn city in the States. It's like, where can I go
Yeah,
somewhere?
they're going to the Hamptons, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're not coming to Mexico.
Well,
Suckers.
yeah, but that's a certain segment of society. You know, there's going to be a lot of people. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be looking for remote working. So here's the deal: remote working. All of you guys who are remote workers in the United States, who are like, man, it's like everything's really tough, and my rent's so high. you can do this crap down here. I have 200 megabits per second of internet, and we're in Playa del Carmen. No great shakes. We're in Playa del Carmen when it comes to internet. And so you can come down here, and it's like
It's a beach town.
and it's like you're in the States.
Yeah.
And we have like 90 direct flights out of the country from here, less than an hour away.
Yeah.
It's like nobody, I mean, people who live in Tulsa can't say that,
Right.
you know? So
I can be in Dallas in about 4 hours.
about
door
4
to
hours, door to door. Yeah. And our expenses are a third of what they are.
Less for other things, like
Yeah.
my whole ophthalmologist.
Yeah, that would have been like
deal.
a $1,500 endeavor in the States.
I don't know what it would have cost, but
Right.
it was $40 for me to go see the ophthalmologist, who her assistant was an optometrist.
Yes.
We're talking like no bullshit here.
Yeah.
It's $40 for 2 visits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anyway, that's just healthcare.
That's 1/3 of the U.S. expenses,
Yeah.
is healthcare.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, what we were saying is, we were talking about it earlier this week, so we put it on the agenda. It's like, if you have any claim to dual citizenship, we encourage and urge you to pursue that, because I hate using the word entitled, but if you're entitled to it, it's yours. Go and get it.
And you can just move here for 6 months out of the year without citizenship. So
Yeah. And then there's that.
and you can bebop in between here in Canada for 6 months and 6 months and
Yeah.
never be in the States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, without citizenship, without residency, without anything, you can be here legally for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah. And we love that.
What, is that bad?
I love it. I was just gonna say that I was just gonna let everybody know that if you wanted to see any past episodes after today,
Yeah.
you can find us at presently somewhere on
Yes.
YouTube, and all of our eps are there. Some of them are better than others, but they're all there. The good,
This is
bad,
the
and
best
ugly.
one, so
This is the best one so far.
you did well.
So I guess that's it. That's everything on the agenda. We're about an hour in.
Did we get everything?
Yes. So I guess until next week, everybody stay okay.
Stay okay.
We'll see you soon.